was this is ride share to the third power.
Oh, we're not telling them that stuff, man. We're not.
Okay.
We're just a secret. That's a secret because we got some cool names for stuff. We got some cool terminology that we're saving for December 6th.
Okay.
Right? You got to be there. You got to be in it to win it. You got to be there to hear it. Okay. All right. I kind of rhymed just a little bit, but not so much. All right. So anyway, 5 payouts on every ride. Okay. Now there's a lot of text on here, but I'm going to work it through for you guys. Okay. So the first payout on the ride is to the driver, right? Obviously, drivers are driving to get paid, and we're going to pay the driver a percentage of the base fare. Okay. And we want to start talking like that. We want to start communicating this way. All right. Because it's important because, our philosophy at iBuumerang and at Vibe Rides, because Vibe Rides is a separate company, is integrity and transparency. We have the it factor, right? You guys heard that before? The iBuumerang it factor. Well, the iBuumerang it factor is also the Vibe Rides it factor, integrity and transparency. And where a lot of companies have gotten in trouble is that they tell the driver, you get a percentage. And they don't say a percentage of what. And so the driver is misled into thinking it's a percentage of the entire amount that the rider pays. But just think about your cell phone bill for a second, right? When you look at your cell phone bill, there's the actual part that's for service, and then you got taxes and fees and all sorts of stuff that get tacked on, and nobody gets paid on those but the governments, et cetera, right? Well, the anatomy of our rides, it will have a base fare, right? That goes to the company, and then there's taxes and there's tolls and all that. I'm sorry, not the base fare. There's a base fare, right? And then there's the company per ride fee. Uber's got one, Lyft's got one, everybody's got one, what the company charges per ride. And then you have taxes, tolls, et cetera. What the driver gets paid on is the base fare, okay? And so we're gonna pay the driver a percentage of the base fare, okay? Now, second, now is when we start to pay the team. We start to pay the team, all right? And this is really exciting. So think about who's in the car. You got a driver and you got a rider, okay? You got a driver and a rider. So we're gonna pay a direct bonus, just like our travel savings bonus, to the person who got the driver, all right? So if that's your driver, every time they make a ride, you're gonna earn a direct bonus, okay? But you have an upline, and just like we do with travel savings, we pay them upline as well. We're gonna also pay upline of the person who got the driver, all right? So we'll call that a driver override or something cool over the next couple of weeks, all right? But then you got the rider. Well, we're gonna pay a direct bonus to the person who got the rider, all right? So again, just like our travel savings bonus, we're gonna pay a direct bonus to the person who got the rider in the car, all right? And we're gonna also, that person who got the rider also has an upline, so we're gonna pay an override to that person's upline as well. So that's five commissions or 5 payouts on every ride. You got the driver, you got the person who referred the driver, you got that person's upline, you got the person who got the rider, you got that person's upline. And so the exact percentages, oh, you wanna know the percentages? Mm-hmm. See you in Florida. All right, awesome. He said, stop teasing us, right? Someone said, do I get paid if you're the rider? No, riders don't get paid. Oh, but I mean, if you are the rider as an ambassador, you do not get paid on the ride, right? Unless the driver is your driver, it's possible, right? Okay, so there you go. All right, here we go. Next up. What about the driver opportunity? Here we go. There will be 2 ways to drive, or 2 driver opportunities, okay? The first opportunity is to just drive only, okay? That's the pure rideshare opportunity, just like Uber drivers, just like Lyft drivers, don't wanna do any business. I just wanna drive, and I just want to get paid for driving. No problem. If that's what you want to do, you can most certainly do that here, okay? There's no charge, there's no sign-up fee in order to be a just driver, okay? you do have to, there's no monthly fee in order to be a just driver. Now you do have to pass the background checks in order to drive for Vibe Rides, because we're all about safety. Okay. So we're going to check your driver history with the motor vehicle organizations. And we're going to check and see if you have a criminal history as well. Okay. And here's what happens. The drivers pay for that. We're working on a potential idea of maybe how we can reimburse drivers for that after they do a certain amount of rides. That's just an idea. Do not post that as a fact that we're doing it, but we just want you to know that we're thinking of that and we're working to see if that's something that we can do. But right now, the only thing a driver has to pay for in order to drive for us is their background check and their vehicle inspection. Okay. So we want to make sure that their vehicles are safe. So they're going to have to go and get a 19-point vehicle inspection. We're going to tell them what those 19 points are. They'll be able to go to any place that can inspect your vehicle, like an oil change place, and get that. And then once it is certified and comes back to us, then they'll be ready to drive. Okay. And we're going to see if we can work out some cool things around the vehicle inspection too. So we're working on all sorts of cool ideas. Then we're going to have a training for the drivers. It's going to be video based. And by the way, speaking of video based, we're going to put together a really cool presentation for drivers so that you do not have to present to drivers. This is not a very complicated thing. The presentation won't be more than really 5 or 10 minutes. And we're going to make sure it's video based. And that way your drivers, when you have somebody who wants to drive, you just send them a link. They watch it, they decide to rock and roll. Great. Click the button. They're in the process. All right. And then of course, we're going to give them the decals for their cars, as you saw us put them not on cars, but on our water bottles, because we drive water bottles around here, I guess, right? No, something like that. All right. So that's the drive only opportunity. Okay. That's a drive only opportunity. Okay. All right. Now, next is a more expanded opportunity, right? So, so you can drive only and then you get paid on you, right? That's a linear income. You get paid when you drive, you don't get paid when you don't drive. We're going to give drivers the opportunity to have leverage, to really create their own rideshare business within our rideshare business. That's super cool. And so they can become a driver ambassador. That's not the name. We have a cool name. We're just not telling you today. I'm sorry, guys. We said we're going to give you some of the info. We can't give you all of it. We can't spill all the beans today, right? So you'll hear the name of that on Friday, December 6th, when we roll out the full deal. All right. So this is the expanded opportunity to be a driver ambassador. This is an opportunity to take rideshare entrepreneurship to a whole nother level and not just earn money when you drive, but to create a residual income that happens even when you're not in a car. All right. Now for this one, the driver will have to buy a pack and they will have to pay a monthly subscription for this opportunity. Now this opportunity will allow them to recruit and get paid on drivers. Okay. And also to acquire and get paid on riders. So you can now build your own team of drivers and get paid when they drive, not just get paid when you drive, but get paid when they drive. Also to allow you to actually get customers. And here's an opportunity that doesn't exist anywhere. Get paid when the customers ride and use Vibe Rides. Even better, as your team of drivers goes out and recruits other drivers and gets more riders, you get to override and get paid on those rides as well. Okay. Now, hold on a second. I want to address some of the things that are happening in the chat, right? I've got some folks saying from Uber saying, hey, you know what? Uber and these guys, they pay for the background checks. Yes, exactly. Uber's a massive company. And they can pay for the background checks. But here's what, by the way, let me tell you how much background checks cost before you fall out of bed over background checks. $30 in Florida. All right, we're talking about $30. We're talking about roughly $16, roughly $12 for the motor vehicle check and another $16 for the criminal check. Okay, so we're not talking about a huge sum of money. And as we grow, as we start to understand our economics, we will, as I mentioned before, and I saw somebody put in there, we will refund the cost. No, we are working on that. I don't want to use committal language here, okay? Because we have the integrity and transparency factor, and so I don't want to say something that is not guaranteed at this time. We're working on it. Our heart is in a place where we would like to pay for that for people, but we need to get out of the gates first, okay? So it's not a monumental cost. It's $30. That's pretty much it, and we will, you know, as I mentioned, it's our intent to be able to get that back.
Do we have to be in a certain class, coach, business, first class, to recruit drivers and passengers?
The answer to that question is no.
You can be coach, business, or first.
If you're an iBuumerang family,
yep.
You can do it.
Yep. And then will there be an additional, so current ambassadors will be able to drive also?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. You just have to follow the process. And I mean, see, so what I want to caution you guys, hey guys, you got to use our background check company. Okay. That's right now. That's the way it works. We can't just take from other sources. We've identified a company that we're going to work with for safety reasons and for legal reasons. We have to do it a certain way. We have to have a certain level of discipline. So you can't just go get your driver record from someplace else. No, we need a verified driver record, and the way that we can make sure is you got to use our company. All right. You got to use our company that we have partnered with to do it. We don't make any money on it. The exact amount that they charge us is what we're passing on to you guys. We're not looking at background checks and motor vehicle checks or vehicle screening or vehicle 19-point inspections, which you can get from anywhere. We're not looking at those as a profit center. Those are just a necessity to make sure that we can provide safety for the riders and the passengers. Okay. This is going to be a very special opportunity. One of the things that people complain about is that they say that there's not a lot of love for drivers with some of the other companies. We're going to show our drivers lots of love. There's so many things that we're planning to do for the future that we haven't even begun to talk about yet, because we're working on them, and we've got so many cool things that we're going to do for passengers. So listen, folks, this is an opportunity you definitely can get excited about, but we have to follow some rules and regulations, especially as we are getting going. So let's get back to this driver ambassador opportunity though. Think about this for a second. You have the opportunity to get paid when you're behind the wheel, when you are working, right? But we're going to give you the opportunity to create a residual income. And what's going to happen, I believe it's going to happen, and I know it's going to happen in a relatively short period of time, is you're going to have drivers who begin to earn so much money from their leverage part of their business, from the override part of their business, from other drivers driving, and from passengers riding, that they will no longer drive themselves. And that's an exciting day. I'm looking forward to seeing that type of stuff happen for people. And again, I see some detailed questions happening here. We'll make sure that we give you guys all full details. That's not the point of this training, just to give you some information, right? To give you a taste, right? It's kind of like when grandma invites you in the kitchen so that you can taste what she's making, but she doesn't really intend for you to come in there with a plate and try to make a whole plate. Okay, so we're just going to give you just a taste today, just a taste. And by the way, background checks, here's a cool thing. Guess what? I learned this yesterday from a conference call that we had with our background check company. Guess how long they take?
How long?
If you've got nothing on your record, if you got a clean driver record and you got a clean criminal history, it's pretty much instantaneous.
Awesome.
Like literally like that, right? Or maybe like 4 or 5 minutes. But right then and there. So anybody who's got a clean record is going to be able to get going very, very quickly. Okay. Now, if you've been doing some stuff, you've been running some red lights, not so much. All right. Okay, cool. We're going to keep it going. So what do you do at this point in time if you want to drive for Vibe Rides? If you want to drive with us, we are capturing, this is an interest capture page. Okay, this is an interest capture page. This is